So here we are, it is essentially the middle of 2020, and a lot of fans around the world have been very intrigued about the future of the Star Wars franchise, and exactly how both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are really going to handle Disney Plus, and the theatrical releases such as the new Star Wars trilogy of films. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the one thing about Disney Star Wars is that we do know that they are currently in a phase of damage control. Now, one thing about this is that what they're trying to do is that they're really trying to save the Star Wars franchise. They're trying to really reunite the fans once more. You know, we've seen a prime example of this with the prequel trilogy movies. A lot of fans were unhappy with The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, and then Revenge of the Sith kind of brought everybody back together. But it was never really divided like how the sequel trilogy divided fans. The prequels, it was just like fans kind of had a lot of different mindsets, if you will, going into the movies and what they thought about the films. It wasn't quite divided as it is now. And looking back at the prequels, I honestly think that they dated pretty well. You know, looking back at those three new Star Wars movies, or should I just say those three Star Wars films by George Lucas, is that there's something about them that still feels like Star Wars. When you look at Disney Star Wars, it really feels like you only get that sense of true Star Wars material in short little bursts every here and there in The Force Awakens and in The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. At least that's how I see things. So, with that being said, of course, what's really intriguing all has to do with creator Jon Favreau and, of course, newcomer Leslye Headland. Alright, an individual in Lucasfilm that a lot of fans are really against for very known reasons. Now, with that being said, of course, with both Disney and Lucasfilm now finished with The Rise of Skywalker, they are now focused on their new Star Wars trilogy of films, as well as the new Star Wars universe. Currently, it's explained that both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are working closely with Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and George Lucas, where it's noted that they are actually working on over 10 years' worth of Star Wars projects that are currently in the early development phase. Now, it's noted also that recently Chapek and Iger have been very frustrated with Kathleen Kennedy's decision by hiring Leslye Headland for one of the new Star Wars TV series for Disney Plus. It's explained that Headland has been working on pre-production for the new Star Wars TV series and is set to begin writing sometime during the month of June. Now, it's noted that, however, recently Chapek has made major changes for Leslye Headland, and that some of the creators are able to prevent or cancel many of Headland's ideas for the new Star Wars TV series. It's explained that creator Jon Favreau recently canceled a major part of Leslye Headland's Star Wars TV series, where Favreau essentially recently canceled the idea by Leslye that would allow her to completely change the history between the Jedi and the Sith that would have had a major impact on the originals and even the prequel trilogy era. Now, it's said that Favreau was not okay with Leslie's idea, as she was trying to reinvent the Jedi and the Sith lore that many fans love and adore, that Headland wanted to bring back the Star Wars Legends material in her own way that would have been offensive to Star Wars fans. Now, it's explained that Jon Favreau also canceled Headland's idea to transform a big, important piece of lore from Star Wars Legends that would have destroyed Disney's focus on making Star Wars a more positive franchise for the Star Wars fandom. It's explained that also Favreau will also have some form of creative control over the Leslye Headland Star Wars TV series as far as canon choices go, and what elements can play a major or minor role in the new TV show. Kathleen Kennedy, however, still has creative control over the TV series for the most part, but Favreau, by contract, was able to save the franchise by actually preventing Headland from making two major mistakes to the Star Wars universe that would have divided the fan base further. Now, it's explained that Favreau only wants things for the best when it comes to the Star Wars franchise, and that he wants to make the Star Wars fans around the world happy and overly satisfied with Disney Star Wars moving forward. Leslye Headland is described to be angry over Favreau's decision to cancel her major ideas for the new TV series, and plays a major role in why the series had a slight production delay from June until July of this year. Lastly, George Lucas is happy over Favreau and his work with Star Wars in general. Let me just say one thing about Favreau. I'm really starting to love this man because what he's done with the Star Wars franchise so far has been very promising. Let's look at The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian was very authentic, and I don't know if you guys have seen it. I'm sure a majority of you have, and have Disney Plus. But when you look at The Mandalorian, it's got this magic to it. There's something about it, I can't explain it, that just feels like the original trilogy. Maybe it has something to do with it having that dark and gritty look to it, the overall look of it, if you will. Not necessarily the tone, but the overall look. It may have something to do with that, but I think it also has something to do with the writing and the fact that they use practical effects to the next level. And that's what Jon Favreau is also going to be doing with Season 2 and 3. On top of that, by introducing many of the fan favorite characters like Ahsoka, Luke Skywalker, and others in different ways possible for these 2 new seasons coming our way. So with that being said, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon.